are in listen-only mode.
Hey guys, I'm glad you're with us on Friday. We're going to start back up on dynamic parameters again. Last week we looked at the elements of a dynamic parameter. When you look at the screen, how you set it up, the options of that. We're going to take off of what we had last week, and actually I'm going to rebuild the parameter so that we didn't forget what we had and build from that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to build a dynamic parameter. We're going to cascade it, and then I'm going to show you how to build cascading off a parameter you already created without having to recreate it. And we're going to display those values. So here's our agenda today. Let me get this PowerPoint working. So we're going to display our parameter using the formulas. We're going to make a cascading parameter. And then if time permits, we're going to do alternating dynamic parameters. I hate doing this. You can tell I do this on the fly when I misspell parameters. Okay, and then again, here's our 20-second commercial. We do customized Crystal report training using your data. We also will write reports for you using your data. I guess that would help if I'm using your data. That's why you'd want it. You can contact myself or Tom Zedell. Here's this information, and we have these webinars archived, so you can go to that site as well. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm open up the Crystal report. And kind of where we're at last week, I'm going to build a dynamic parameter based on states. Now, in our report here, it's the same one we had last week. I went in and I've got this thing filtered by country because USA. It's just a training database that comes with Crystal, and it has all these countries on it. And so I'm going to build a parameter based on the field called region. I've had it grouped by region. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to build this, and the reason I'm rebuild it is they already have it built is because there's one option I want you to remember. So I'm going to call this thing states, is our name. Our list of values I'm going to drop down here. I'm going to make it dynamic. Our field is a string. Remember the group prompt text. This allows you to name your grouping. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I want to grab my data from the database. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to pick the region table, which is actually the states values. And I'm going to go over, if there was a description field for that, I could pick that. I'm going to click on here to make sure it creates a parameter. And the reason I wanted to recreate this parameter is I want to go down and make sure that you remember the optional prompt from last week. I want to be able, if I pick nothing, to get everything. So as I build this, I'm going to select the optional prompt and make sure that's true. It's going to say changing the prompt to be an optional may break existing formulas. Don't worry about that. And we're not going to do that for us right now. I'm going to click OK. And then I want to have multiple values, because what's going to happen sometimes we have just a value, it breaks, and we're going to run into that just a little bit, and we're going to fix it. So there's our parameter. Now remember last week I said make sure you select the optional prompt. I'm going to click OK here. There's our parameter. I'm going to go up to the filter here. I'm going to filter it out to our select expert, saying, hey, give me the region. Well, I already have country here because USA, so I'm going to new. I'm going to select region, and we're going to say, okay, region is going to be equal to, it's going to be equal to our parameter, which is up here, in states. And I'm going to click OK. And right now, I'm going to pick nothing. I'm going to click OK. And we get everything. Why did we get everything? Let me show you what happened. I'm going to go up here to report, selection formulas, record. And then what happened here is because when I picked optional prompt, it stuck this portion of our formula in our select statement. So it's telling it put this in here has value. If that parameter does not have a value, you're going to get everything, or you're going to get the value that's inside the parameter. Now, if you went ahead and you built that parameter and forgot to select the optional prompt, you can go back later and select that optional prompt, but you're going to have to go back in and add this to your statement because it's not going to have it. Okay, so we're going to save and close that, and now I'm going to refresh this, and I want to pick some values here. So go up, click OK, and we're going to run into a couple things here. Number one is my database has all these regions in here that aren't part of USA. Now there's a couple ways of fixing this. One is I can create a SQL statement, an embedded query that just pulls in those values, or what I'm going to do is do cascading instead. But let me go ahead, I'm going to just pick a few values in here. And I'm going to click OK. Now I want to display these values. Now what happens, I'm going to go right click on a parameter over here. I'm going to edit this again. What's happening is because down here where we said allow multiple values equals true, that turns this parameter into an array. An array has multiple values. So we have to be able to display an array. So to display an array, you have to create a formula. So I'm going to go here to formulas. I'm going to right click on it and select new. And I'm going to call this display our states values. It's going to just display our parameter values. So I'm going to click OK here. I'm going to go into our formula and I want to display an array. Now you're going to ask me, well, how do I display an array? There's a function called join that displays arrays. And if you say, well, where's it at up here in the functions? I'm going, you know, I really don't know. Well, I do know, but I don't have to know. You don't have to know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to the editor. I'm going to hit the control button and hit the space bar at the same time, and all of the functions come up in alphabetical order over here on the left-hand side. And I'm going to start typing join, J-O-I-N. So there's join. And I'm not sure what join does or the syntax. So what can I do? I can highlight the join. I can go up to the question mark, hit the question mark, and it's going to tell me what my join does. So we have join, list, and delimiter. So our list is going to be our parameter. That's where our array is, our elements in the array. And delimiters is what we're going to separate it by. So I'm going to go up, have join, and I'm going to put the open paren sign, and then I'm going to grab our parameter. So I'm going to go up and double click on states, our parameter up here, and then there's our list. This is our list. I'm going to put a comma, and our delimiter is what we're going to separate our list with. So it's going to be in quotes because it's literal. So I'm going to quote, comma, space, close quote. Now remember this, open quote and close quote, doesn't matter if it's double or single. It does not. If you start with the double, end with the double. If you start with a single quote, end with a single quote. And we're going to close it off with a close paren. Now, okay, we're doing good. So now I'm going to take our display values. I'm going to stick it up here in our list. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Undo. I'm going to grab our display formula there and display it up here. Now here's the problem, or not problem, it's got exactly what we have up here. That's what we picked. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to pick another one. Go up here and prompt values, and I'm going to grab one more. Let's grab California because I know there's just a lot of data inside there. So there's California. Okay, now here's the problem. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to break this thing. I'm going to refresh it, go to the prompt there, and I'm going to, well, I don't mean to do that. Yeah, I'm going to go and I'm going to get rid of everything, remove all. I'm going to click OK here. And then, uh-oh, it says parameter has no value. So this is breaking. I need to put a clause in here to capture it if my parameter has no value. So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over here to the left-hand side where my select statement is, select formula. And I'll go down to the record selection. And here's my not has value. I'm going to grab this little portion of it right here where it has not has value, my parameter. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go back to my formula up here, states. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to say, and I'm going to paste that in there, so if my parameter not has value, then I'm going to say all, because what's going to happen, it's going to bring everything back. Else, if I do have a value inside of my parameter, it's going to go down to this one. So if there's no value, we're going to display the all, which satisfies the blank or not have a null. If there is a value, it's going to go down here and grab this. So now when I save and close, it's showing the all. If I refresh this and grab others, it's going to show the others. So let me go ahead and grab a couple just a minute. Then I want to show you how to make this cascading. Let's go back and grab just a couple states here. All right, here's a problem that we had just a minute ago. I'm going to go up here and let's say I want to refresh my parameter and I want to pick and choose just like we had just in. The problem is that the database that I have has all these regions there that we do not want. what I want to do is I want cascading that if I have the United States, I want just to show the regions inside there. If I have Canada, I want to show just the districts that are inside there. If I'm in some other country, I want to show the regions that are just going to be relevant to that. So I'm going to go back to my parameter over here. I'm going to right-click on it and edit this. Now, usually, I've seen some people go and they delete the parameter and start new. You don't really have to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to where it says choose a data source. I'm going to select new here. So it cleared out my system, or cleared out my parameter altogether. Now I want to have my top parameter value to be country. So I'm going to select, click item, I'm going to select here. And I'm going to select country as our top one. And then I'm going to go down here to click item here. And this is where I'm going to select my region. Okay, and I'm going to go to the right-hand side. I'm going to click on make sure these are parameters. But also I'm going to go back down to the region because I want this to be, this to have multiple values. And I want to turn the option prompt on here as well. So that again we'll have that formula at the very top where it has if there's no value. Thing is, my country, there's only going to be one value for country, so I don't really have to turn it on here. I mean, notice it's already on because I turned on one below. I don't have to have it there. I'm just going to show one value there, so multiple values is going to be false. Our region down below, our multiple value is going to be true. So I'm going to click OK here. So country is going to be equal to USA, and we're going to get nothing, or it's going to say there's something wrong with your array. Well, we'll have to fix that in just a minute. So let me go ahead and just mark it off just right now. So I'm going to go back up in our report, and then we lost our value up here. The thing is now is we have our country. You know, this didn't go exactly how I wanted to, but we're going to make it work anyway. Oh, you know what we're going to do? Let me go back here and let me, I forgot one little step, and one little step breaks everything. I'm going to go back to our parameter here and edit it, and we need to add that parameter there as well. I forgot to add that parameter. Our term prompt is true. Okay, now let's go back up here to our filter, and this time instead of country equals USA, we're going to say country is going to be equal to our state's parameter, and then well, hang on, let me look at that again. States is going to be our region up here. No, states is going to be our country, and states region is going to be our region. Okay, I just want to make sure I got that right. States is going to be country, states region is going to be region. So let's go back up here to our filter. Country is going to be equal to states, and country region is going to be to states region. So it's USA. Now I go down, I can pick and choose just the states that are in USA. And think about, because there's only one value in our states, and I can rename this to be country here. Let's do that. Right click on states, rename it as country. And we can rename this to be just states. All right, I'm going to go back up here to our selection formula again to see what we have. Because right now, if you don't have a value in country, you don't get everything. And if you don't have a value in region, you don't get everything. And because we said prompt, we use the optional prompt, it put that up there for us. So right now, if I went in and I'm going to refresh this, I went ahead and for USA, I'm going to pick USA for the country. And I'm going to pick remove all, pick nothing for the states, and I should get everything back. So there's our dynamic parameter. We created a cascading parameter out of it. Now we run out of time. It's 1:15. What I'm going to do next week, it's called alternating parameters. Well, first I'm going to look at questions in just a second here. So give me questions. It's called alternating parameters. Let's say you have an employee ID, or you have a customer ID and a customer name. Sometimes we either know the customer name and not the customer, or we know the customer and not the ID. So there's the times where you may want to type in the ID and not the customer and bring back the value, or you want to bring in the customer and not the ID. So you can pick and choose either one. So we're going to go next week and do an alternating dynamic parameters. Now we've done that in static parameters, not dynamic. So let me open up the questions, see if we have any questions here. There's no questions. So what I'm going to do next week, again, we're going to do alternating parameters, where if you have two parameters, let me just kind of explain it up here what I have right now up here. Right now we have two parameters that we're saying you can pick country, you pick no country, you get everything, you pick states or not get a state. What we're going to do next week is if you have an ID, customer ID, and a customer name, you have two parameters, one's ID and one customer name. A parameter you have to give it a value. But what we want to do is that I don't know their ID, I do know their name, I can find the name, it gives me the ID, or vice versa. So alternating parameters. Thank you for joining in today. We'll see you next week, and we'll be looking at alternating parameters. You guys have a good weekend. Let me put this one slide back up here. Now I'm going to stay out here for a few minutes if anybody has any questions. Oh, I do have a question here. Let's look at that. All right. Well, a question do you have, are these going to be on Fridays? Yes, they are. What I've usually done is, in the past, I've had them on Fridays, and like I do reports for certain, I do write reports, and the client had me on site on Fridays, so I couldn't do it on Fridays, or actually I traveled on Fridays and couldn't do it, so I had to do it on Thursdays. So what I like to do is have them on Fridays. So from here going forward, hopefully we'll have it on Fridays. And if there's still some more questions, I'll still be on here for a few minutes for the folks who are still online if you have any questions.
The